you can use that money and spend to that minimum in different creative ways. You can do it with contract extensions. You could do it with contract signings. You can do it with signing bonuses. Like there are a lot of different ways, to spend money and all of that. But the Bears are going to have to spend a lot of money this offseason. And then you start looking at who are they going to spend it on. And it's not a great free agent year, if I'm being honest. And you don't know who's going to hit free agency because, a name that everybody's talked about, we've talked about, Daron Payne, 26-year-old pass-rushing interior defensive lineman from the Commanders. Are they really going to let him hit free agency? Maybe. They've paid, Chase Young, and they have Montez Sweat, and how many resources can you really put onto one unit like a defensive line like that? Well, time will tell. But it's rare that an interior defensive lineman who's a good pass rusher actually hits the open market when things like the franchise tag exist. So, if Montez Sweat hits the open market, the Bears will try to sign him, just like I'm sure Cleveland would try to sign him, and Atlanta would try to sign him, and some of the other teams that have a ton of cap space. But one position that is very, 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 very deep this year is running back. And I am normally team don't pay running backs. It's a fungible position, all that sort of thing. It's a good draft class. It's a good free agent class. David Montgomery is good, but he's not that fast. So what are you going to do at that position when you've been a run-based team? And so this is what I can't get out of my head. Luke Getsy came from Green Bay. They ran the ball a lot. Luke Getsy came from Green Bay. They had Aaron Jones and still drafted A.J. Dillon. The Bears have to spend a ton of money. The Bears need premium talents. The position that seems to have the most premium talent available happens to be running back. Saquon Barkley says he is not looking to reset the market, but he just hopes to be a Giant for life on a long-term deal. So what does that mean? Well, resetting the market for running back would be north of $16 million per year. That's what Christian McCaffrey got. The franchise tag is about $11 million for a running back. So that tells you there's your range. If you could get Saquon, you probably got to go above $11 million, but he's probably not going to get, because he hasn't done it consistently enough because of injury, $16 million. So let's just split the difference. Call it $13 million. Call it $14 million per year, whatever you want to do. Would you, the Bears fan, while you're spending Ryan Poles' money in a year where there are not a lot of marquee premium dudes, would you give $14 million a year to a running back and make Saquon Barkley the fourth highest paid running back in the NFL? Say lower than McCaffrey, lower than Zeke. His contract is horrendous, by the way. Lower than Alvin Kamara, but make him higher paid than Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. Slot him in there. And now teams have to deal with RPOs and zone reads, and the dudes are Justin Fields and Saquon Barkley. My initial answer is no, because I don't pay running backs. But if you have to spend to the floor and you need premium talent, it might be the move.
I think there might be 3 or 4 maybe running backs in the NFL that I would pay for. Saquon Barkley is one of them. Christian McCaffrey, another one. Josh Jacobs, another one. There are just some guys that have the ability to break open a game and absolutely handcuff a team. And like you said, when you're considering him in the run game with Justin Fields and the options that gives you to then also open up the pass game because you have no idea what's about to happen, it's a luxury that should be paid for because Saquon Barkley is just special. But also, if he came here, I'd tell him he can't wear that stupid-ass dangly earring anymore. That's gone. We're taking that out.
Okay, well, you're tough like that.
Or like with Al Harris and the Packers, you want to wear it? I'm going to attack you by your hair.
Okay.
You want to wear the earring? We'll tackle you by the earring.
That's a risk he'd have to be willing to take.
It'd be tough. You got the helmet on. It'd be tough to tackle him by the earring.
Okay, shut up though. Dealing with a loss here.
Yeah, it would be difficult. And I like the idea of you telling anything to Saquon Barkley.
I'm older than him.
Yeah.
I think, aren't I?
You're definitely older than him. I think he's 25, 26.
So barely.
His thighs are about the size of your torso. He's a big, strong man.
I like the look. I like the old school crucifix for the earring. It reminds me, it's very 90s. I could see him on an Upper Deck card back in the day with that look. With
Sure.
the high top fade
Yeah,
and the
but
earring.
Tanny, it's not the crucifix anymore. It's his own number. It's a dangly number 26.
Pray to the altar of 26.
I'm sure the Bears have that retired too at the changes.
Yeah, right. I like your list. I would add, like, to me, Nick Chubb is incredible. Derrick Henry's been great.
Is Frank Gore still playing somewhere?
No, Frank Gore not still great.
He wants to be in the same backfield as his son, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hanging around.
Yeah, exactly. I think Alvin Kamara is great. A guy with breakaway speed who also is good in the passing game fits what they are trying to do, and it feels like a luxury paying a running back that amount of money, right? The Niners just traded a draft pick and took on a big contract for Christian McCaffrey to be on the Niners, and they thought that they had a Super Bowl roster. So it feels ridiculous to suggest that they're not a running back away. It's ridiculous.
Well, plus, like, what does the contract look like? How many years is he going to be here? Is he even going to be good and effective by the time the rest of the team is built up around him? I know a lot of the offseason we'll have to see how it plays out, but will he realistically be a part of this next Super Bowl team for the Bears?
Yeah.
I can't answer that.
I can't either. I mean, I think he's 25. So
Yeah, he is 25.
So so he turns 26 next month. So 26 in February. I'm supposed to have a very strong opinion on this.
Pretty much anything. It's your job.
I know.
Just anything we talk about, you should have a strong opinion on it in one way or another.
I know.
Hey, I had chicken and Brussels sprouts for lunch. What do you think of that?
It stunk a little bit.
There you
It
go.
did stink. You opened
yeah.
your lunch and walked out of the room, and I'm sniffing around. Just looked back
Yeah.
at Danny. He's like, "Hey, do you smell something?"
Yeah.
And it's always Brussels sprouts that smell, but they taste wonderful. And Tanny's a great cook, so I'm sure it was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, now what? Go
It
ahead
was,
with
but I
your.
like your hard opinion on my
I got a strong opinion on
what's
those
your
Brussels sprouts.
football?
It really left an odor in the room behind you. But honestly, like, if they signed Saquon Barkley, it would be very exciting, and I would immediately be terrified of the contract because of injury at that position, and he's been hurt. But he looks like a superhero, and they need premium talent, and they need playmakers on offense. And if you look at it, and it's like, okay, they like Cole Kmet, and there's no receiver in free agency. So who are they going to add as a playmaker realistically? Maybe they will trade for someone, and I hope that they do. And I absolutely would like them to trade a mid-round pick for a DeAndre Hopkins or something like that. But there's a good chance that the best playmaker that changes teams in free agency this offseason is a running back. And now that's just bad luck for the Bears. But if I say on the front end, you have to spend money and you have to get Justin Fields playmakers, on the back end, can I really bitch and moan if it's a running back and not a receiver when there just don't happen to be good receivers? Like, sometimes you get the number one pick in the draft and it's LeBron James. Sometimes you get the number one pick in the draft and it's Andrew Bogut. Bad luck. So I'd be terrified of the contract, but they can afford it. They simply can afford to pay Saquon Barkley because of all of the cap space that they have, and there just aren't going to be that many premium dudes out there. So it would be exciting.
Like, aren't you more willing on a payday out at the bar with your friends to pick up the first couple rounds than you are not on a payday?
Yeah.
You're more willing to do something that you wouldn't normally do when there's more money available.
Yeah. But I don't know that that's like a sound economic principle.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When have you ever known me to have a sound economic principle?
I wouldn't, but I'm saying I'd like to think that Ryan Poles and his cap guys would have that level of discipline.
I don't care about that so much either. I want him to spend as much money from my current enjoyment.
Sure. Short-term.
You can't take it with you.
Short-term gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. And they'd be a tough offense it'd be a tough offense to game plan against. Zone reads with Justin Fields and Saquon Barkley. That'd be real tough. So I heard Dan talking about stealing Jason Bernstein's take of he wants fast running backs. Yeah, that's a good one. How about fast and strong? Because Saquon is one of the craziest physical specimens that's come into the NFL in the last decade. So it would be pretty exciting.